The limit. Been dealing with this for a few weeks now. Marriage seemed good, then 3 weeks ago, boom. Spouse is a high school teacher teaching AP and honors level courses. Always talked about a disgusting pig who worked there, on his third wife, multiple affairs. He's 58, my wife is 32. This is hard to type. We have 2 young kids. Information was sent to me by an unknown sender. I thought it was a scam or bad joke, but some proof was there. While I am not certain who sent it to me, I have 2 people I suspect it could be. They carried on in school, during the school day during her free time. He's an administrator, not the principal. I would have never known if someone would not have tipped me off. I have since gone through everything and found almost nothing suspicious that I missed. When I confronted my wife, she lied to my face like a Hollywood actress. I couldn't tell she was lying to me except for the proof I had. I have since used a VAR in her SUV to get more information, and it confirmed the worst. She also follows his coaching. The things he tells her to say to me, she says to me. I want to throw up. She's listening to him and not me. She has had a friend that I have never liked that knew about it as well, and she chimes in with the same kind of crap. At one point he told her worst case scenario they would have to lay low for a while, could pick up again later, and my wife said okay. I've given her 3 different chances to come clean with everything, and she has just lied and lied and lied. She only admits to what she is certain I know. I have not tipped my hand to everything I have yet, although I'm not sure what good it does to still hold back at this point. I've left a lot of stuff out, not sure it matters. This is the gist of it anyway. It's over. I don't think there is anything left to try to save. I'm hoping that typing this out will make me feel better. So far, I just feel like crap. My parents have a lawyer they want me to meet with next week. I just can't see any way to work through this aside from a divorce. I'll try to find the 180 book on Amazon. That provides some guidance or a plan to move forward. First holiday season, I've lost weight. Can't sleep and don't feel much like eating. I need to move forward in some positive way. From everything I have so far, they don't appear to have met up outside of school. Their meetings took place during her planning period, and she was also able to stay late after school let out. Her workday ended before mine, and she picked the kids up on her way home. She was staying in the school with him after most everyone else knocked on the door running, and I didn't know. They did get noticed though by someone, and that's how I got my information. There are at least 2 other women teachers he has had affairs with that still work there. Based on the VAR, they think one of them tipped me off for spite. Listening to the VAR has been the worst experience of my life. She's hysterical sounding in most of it. He's calm. His primary questions were what exactly did I know? What did the proof look like? What was I going to do? His big concern, and the one he keeps driving home to her, is how much trouble they can both get in. He's worried I will go to the administration or his wife. I have not done either so far. He also keeps telling her to deny everything she can, that I will want to believe her. I'm ashamed to say I would really like to have believed her, and most likely would have if not for the VAR. The kids have to be mine. Everyone says how much they look like me, and from the VAR it doesn't sound like this started this school year. My kids are too old. The STD test I hadn't thought of. Talking to the school, my parents are advising against that until I can speak to a lawyer. They think if we are divorcing that it is in my best interest to make sure she has a job. If there was any way to save the marriage, then that would have been a must. If I'm being honest, I'm also very embarrassed that my wife would cheat on me. I don't exactly know how that conversation goes. Hi, my wife is banging the overweight guy old enough to be her dad. The VAR is how I have found out most of what I know. I have 2. I have been rotating them in her car. Her phone connects to the car Bluetooth, and I get both sides of the conversation when she calls from her car. The VAR has confirmed for me. They have been sleeping together in the school. He is worried about getting fired, his licenses, and his wife finding out. He has recently told her they need to lay low and she needs to stop calling him. She deletes the calls from the call log in her phone, but I could see them on our mobile phone account. After I confronted her about the deleted calls and the cell phone account, she must have picked up another phone, because I now have calls that she has made that don't show up on the cell bill. The new phone is not connected to the car Bluetooth, so I only get her side of the call. From the conversations with her cancerous friend, this sounds like the first time she has done this. I know I can't go on like this. I would like to fight for and save my family, but I can't see that I have anything left to fight for at this point. I think divorce is my only option, as she won't engage in an honest discussion. The first time we talked, before I showed her anything, she swore that I must be having a mental breakdown and needed psychiatric care to think she would ever do something like this. I knew she was lying but didn't have all the details then. Then she said it looked worse than it was. I should believe her. How could I think so poorly of her, etc. I honestly can't tell by looking at her or listening to her when she's lying. Either she's really good at it, or I just am not capable of figuring it out. I can't live like this. My parents are coming over to talk to me tonight. My dad is bringing a new bourbon we read about to try. My wife is staying at her mom's house a few miles away with kids. My request. She's pissed, says she belongs in her own home with all of us as a family, and that I can't see how dedicated she is when she's not here with me. I guess there is truth to that, but I just can't take any more lies right now. I've spent some time reading and am more depressed in some ways than I was before. Someone asked how she knows I'm considering a divorce. I didn't know I was supposed to keep that to myself, and some of our exchanges have been very emotional. I thought I was doing pretty good at keeping my stuff close, but guess I should have not said that either. I was really trying to get her to be honest with me. I'd still like that. Basically, I told her she was leaving me no choice except divorce. That happened a few days ago. She's coming back today for another round of this drama that seems to go nowhere. I have read about asking for a timeline. I'm thinking that I'm going to ask her for that, make an appointment for the lawyer as soon as I can get one, and pulling the VAR until I can speak to the lawyer. I already have more than enough VAR recordings anyway. I do have them saved in a safe place. My mom is pushing really hard for me to see a doctor to get tested, and my dad ordered some DNA kit online last night. I can't believe this is my life. I'm also trying to process the 180 stuff. Some of it seems easier than others. Is that mostly though to get to reconcile? Not sure if I made this clear either, but it sure sounds like my wife's old fat boyfriend dumped her. Not sure why this seems so important to me, but it does. My parents want me to divorce. My mother could also never be cordial to her again even if we were to try and work through it at this point. I hadn't thought about that one. It would be awkward. Anyway, she came over today. Same crap, different day. She maintains there is nothing else to tell me. She's sorry for the way it looks. If I loved her, I'd believe her. She'll do anything to make it right, etc. Then she was crying, telling me how exhausted she is, and asked if she could lay down and take a nap. She invited me to hold her. I declined. I told her she could take a nap, but I still wanted her to stay with her parents for now. She left a trail of her clothes on the way to the bedroom. I did not follow. I took advantage of her nap time to snoop through her purse. I didn't find anything in it. However, I did pull the VAR and decided to snoop through her vehicle. I didn't find anything in there either. I have listened to the VAR. There is not much new on it. It is much harder to get the whole story, only getting one side of the conversation. She is back at her parents again this evening. I'm going to try ignoring her except for the kids until I can speak to a lawyer. I don't know if she has told her parents the truth. I suspect she has not. Her parents say I'm overreacting and that I should believe her, but they have not listened to the VAR. I do think her mom would cover for her if she felt she had to. I could be wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me either way, based on what I have heard from the VAR recordings. I just can't answer this one for sure one way or the other. I have been spending time with the kids. They spend some nights here with me and some with their mom at her parents' house. I am set with an appointment to see a lawyer on Thursday. Have an appointment with my doctor next Tuesday. Couldn't sleep last night thinking about everything again. I think I may have missed a signal when things started. However, when I asked, she had excuses that I believed. She was bringing more work home with her this year than she normally had. In hindsight, I think this is because she was not using her planning period to do work and was extending her school days a bit to mess around. Basically, took time away from us at home and had me doing more stuff around the house to pick up the slack. The gift that just keeps giving a kick to the backside. She said the kids were behind and she was doing extra work trying to get them caught up. I believed it. She has continued to blow up my phone today. I have done my best to ignore her. A quick update. The meeting with the lawyer went well. I really liked the lawyer my mom found. I am proceeding down that path. The voice recordings are not usable where I live for anything other than me knowing the truth. I plan to get rid of them. I had the kids with me the last 2 nights. My wife has not changed her position. Still admits to only what she knows that I have information on. No other path forward for us but divorce. My comment: I'd keep the recordings and tell her it's time to stop playing games, that he has heard recordings someone made. That would be entirely truthful and likely very unsettling. She'd no longer have any notion of privacy, and she'd tell her AP, who would then be broadening his own circle of fear. Story 2. My husband lied to me and said he didn't have a private dance. I looked on his phone and he said he'd spent £125 at the strippers. Private dances, £25 each, fully bare. I looked on website. That would mean 5 dances. I'm feeling hurt and betrayed. He knew it was wrong, hence the lying. I've been going through some awful things personally, and I just feel like he has just kicked me when I'm down. He said the usual, it was his friend's stag, he was best man. The other best man and the stag all participated. It was a bit of fun. He originally said he'd only had 1 dance, but I asked to see his bank statement, and he said no. Surely if nothing to hide he would show me. He then said that everyone had clubbed together to buy the stag dances and he paid for them for him on his card. I just don't believe him. To make matters worse, he came in that night and we had slept together. He did some foreplay that he generally wouldn't do, and all I can think is he was thinking that he was doing it to the stripper. Feel like I can't let him touch me again. We have 2 kids together. We've really struggled through lockdown. He hasn't been the most pleasant, abusive even. Our physical life has nosedived through the years, not for my want of trying. I think he likes to be in control. He's rejected me many times, so I now don't initiate as I know it's pointless. It just feels like it's the final nail in the coffin. I just don't agree, and he knew this, with married men having private dances. I'm sure his other friends would have been sitting just drinking, watching the girls dance from afar, also not particularly keen on this, but it's at least a little more acceptable. I wouldn't expect him not to go in but at least be respectful to me like his other friends would have been. I am attractive, I keep myself fit and just feel like he doesn't appreciate me at all. We have been together for 20 years. Is this the end? What makes it worse is I can imagine he's probably done this right the way through our marriage, no point in asking as he'll not tell me the truth. He is now expecting me to just get over it. He says that it meant nothing but I can't get it out of my head. I can't even have slept with him as I think he is comparing me. He even went to Amsterdam earlier this year and I just feel sick at what could have gone on. He says he's one of the lads and if I don't like it, I know what I can do. He says I'm crazy to see this as cheating. He says it is in no way cheating. I feel like it is. Also, it's so degrading thinking he can objectify and pay for a woman. It's just wrong on so many levels. We are going to the wedding next week and know it's going to be hard to be in front of all his friends who shared his experience and to sit with all the wives who are totally oblivious. I don't think there was touching, just makes me feel sick to think he was maybe thinking about that whilst being with me. No, he doesn't really seem to think he's done much wrong, although he did send flowers, so obviously felt like he did something wrong. I'm just really struggling with my feelings and he just thinks I'm overreacting. I am wondering about all his trips away. But as he's one of the boys, I'm assuming this has been something he's done for years. I asked him and he said he'd been in lots of strip joints but hasn't had many private dances. He only had private dances because he was best man, which I don't believe. He blames the fact that I looked on his phone. He said that if I'd never looked, I would have been none the wiser. Blissful ignorance. That's the problem, he hasn't been open about it. I've found out by default. God knows what went on in Amsterdam. I'm sure lap dancing clubs over there are definitely more hands-on. I even said I wouldn't be happy for him to go again, but he has said that he would go again regardless of how I felt. I don't think he would actually do anything physically apart from look, but then how naive do I sound? But I do believe that it's more the fact that he is willing to do something that he knows will hurt, upset me. Also, I've been friends with these people for a long time and I just don't feel like it's my place to say anything. I don't think that I'll find out much more as I do think I know what went on. Also, my husband knows which friends will happily stir up crap and happily speak about what went on, so no doubt something will be said. I will just have to keep my cool. I'm actually off work on sick leave due to personal reasons, which is why I am even more shocked he could do this at this time. I go to the gym, get dressed up, hair done. We even went out at the weekend to salvage something and I got lots of compliments from people. Even one woman said to him he is punching being with me. I am trying to get over it, but he was annoyed I couldn't sleep with him after our evening out. He said that if I can't get over it soon, we will have to split up. I've told him that I can't control how I'm feeling and if it's affecting our physical life, well, unfortunately, he'll have to wait till I feel better about the situation, however long that will be. I see it as cheating, however, he totally disagrees. He says he's apologized, told me he'll not do it again. We have a family and a home and it's scary to think I am going to leave and break up our life. He says it was totally meaningless, a laugh with his mates for his stag do, and that's the only reason it happened. He didn't even want to go in, but other people wanted to. I'm struggling to accept it. He's also said he won't do it again, but it's not something I believe as he will just hide his tracks better. It's a mess. He says he didn't do it 5 times. He firstly said he did it once, then he said a couple of times now. He says he had a private dance and a dance with the groom. Nope, not finding it funny, but unfortunately the last laugh is on him at the moment, as the way I'm feeling I don't really want him near me. Plus I have always been very playful when it comes to bonding and adventurous. Well, that's gone totally out of the window. I just feel sick. I didn't really ask as I felt I trusted him. I thought he would look as many would. I've been and had a look about as many people do. I've now asked him what went on. He did have a funny look on his face when he said nothing happened. I obviously don't believe him, but he probably thinks it's better to play it safe than to tell me more BS. My mind is now going mad as I can imagine lap dancing clubs in Amsterdam are very different from the ones in the UK. We weren't in a physical starved marriage. If anything, I have been a very willing participant. For reasons I don't know, my husband has been the one to push me away and reject me, which has stopped me initiating, and I feel he has made it a power struggle. For the record, I have been sleeping with him since this, but it has just been spoiled by images in my head of what he's been up to and overthinking things, and I've made him stop and got upset. This is something I have no control over, and if I am sabotaging the marriage, it's certainly not intentionally. 7 months later. I left my husband a month ago. I left for many reasons, but I definitely think the lap dances finished whatever love for him I had left. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done to walk away, and I think if I have any advice is if you have someone you love and who loves you back, it's the most precious thing and needs to be nurtured. Complacency and taking them for granted kills even the strongest love. No couple is invincible. Look after each other. He's taken it really badly. He's lost so much weight. He's bombarded me with messages saying how much he will change. I've told him that it's all just too late, and I hope he will become a better person for the next woman. I really hope he will, as we have 2 children together and they need him to be the best for them. My comment: if you take him back, he will continue to cheat and will just lie about it. It's a terrible example to set for your children to let him humiliate you over and over. Story 3. So, my platonic friend of 7 years, boyfriend for 2, and husband for 1 is terrible at communicating and has progressively gotten worse. The backstory: for the last 2 years I have been away on military orders. I have seen him 14 days in the last year and maybe 30 days combined in the past 2 years. Me, 31 female, him 31 male. We have had our fair share of ups and downs that come with being 6,000 miles apart, but that isn't what is changing my love and dedication to him. Our consistent issues are lack of communication and following through with what he says he is going to do. I can ask, hey, can you send me documents? Hey, can you look into XYZ? Hey, can you mail me this? Hey, can you be more this? Hey, I am feeling this way. Hey, I am bothered by this. I get ignored 99% of the time and told I am dramatic and too emotional. I give several hours or more for a response, and then when I don't get one in a reasonable amount of time, I follow up with, hey, why are you ignoring me? And then he leaves me on read and continues to ignore me. This causes me to advance from being upset to being angry. During this time, he will be sending me memes and whatnot, but not addressing my concern or request. Since these things have repeated themselves over and over again, and I have reached out at least twice a month to resolve the issues with a lengthy phone conversation of me complaining, I have gotten to a point where I am losing the bond we once had. I am feeling the distance and considering a separation upon my return to the States in roughly 37 days to a couple that has already been separated for 2 years. For example, he made a pact with me in May 2023 that he would be enlisted to the AF. The 5th of December rolled around and no efforts had been made. I explained to him that the recruiters would be on Exodus from the 19th, asked if he was going to keep his pact or take it off the table. We aren't getting any younger. He got upset and said, got to keep the pact with an attitude. We eventually got over the issue and he went to take a PT test and found out what he needed to work on. He failed. He was supposed to have been back already and they gave him information on when he could come to work out with other potential recruits. He has not gone once. He pushed the joining to March, then May, and now is planning other priorities over the summer, so I can imagine he will push the date again. Look, I don't care if he goes or not. I would just like a plan of action and goal setting to take place so I can also plan my life. I feel like I carry the relationship alone. The conversations we do have involve zero stimulating factors. It's either memes, his hobbies, or me asking how his day is. He seldomly inquiries about my day and I am being very generous with seldom. He has 3 IG, 2 FB, WhatsApp, Signal, and posts on forums about his hobbies to include bikes, cameras. He has a network of colleagues and friends that keep him busy with projects and odd jobs, but they seem to take precedence over all other things. He recently said, you married a 12-year-old. This is a grown man 31 years old saying this. He said he is emotionally stupid while getting very angry when I talk to him, upset about his shortcomings. He recently stated that he argues to win an argument. I said that is very immature, as communication is meant to resolve conflict and further develop relationships positively. Am I the asshole for contemplating a separation because though we are loyal and dedicated to one another, my needs and concerns are not being met? Outside of these things, there is no romanticism, no good morning beautiful, no physical connections, excuses of low libido, no how is college and work going, no what projects are you dealing with, is there anything I can help you with? This guy is very smart, loyal, dedicated, talented, and intelligent, but doesn't seem to concern himself with anything but himself. When I do reach out or become infuriated with him, he says, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't mean to do that. I think you need to take a nap. I think you are just tired. All these problems will go away when you are home because I can smack you ass and you will have your friends and things to do. He says he is on the spectrum, has ADHD, etc. To me it is a bunch of excuse. I have said if these things are true to go to a doctor, get diagnosed, and get help, and he says no. Additionally, I recently got diagnosed with 2 herniated discs, 3 annular tears, a bulging disc, spinal stenosis, and degenerative disc disease. I sent him the findings of my MRI when he woke up, and he sent me a sad face emoji when the other 7 close friends, family called me. What the hell? About change. I was in a healthy marriage prior to this one. We had personal differences in lifestyle, and that's okay. I say that to say I have no desire to raise a man, and I am running on empty with trying to be heard, understood, loved, and given the basic needs of a relationship. Rather, it is dirty and romantic conversation. Conversations about life, inquiries about my days, etc. I am currently getting nothing, and when I ask for things I am forgotten and responded with sorry babe, which is very lazy lover considering I am a very loving, giving, devoted person. He isn't working and hasn't since August, sadly. He has odd jobs, videography for a buddy, and some marketing, but not anything of substantial income. I do not provide for him financially. He has decent savings and does make some income to hold him over. It is pointless currently for him to get a job when I will be there soon, and he is in FL and I am being stationed at Rucker about 2 hours away. I do not know what tower I am going to yet, so we don't know where to relocate just yet. I know it sounds awful, and really it is. He should have gotten a job when he knew he wasn't committed to the AF thing. He can't make any hard decisions when it comes to his future. He likes to call himself a jack of all trades. His savings is pretty hefty considering he has lived at home all but about 5 years, raking in 50 to 80 up until 2021. When you don't have an overhead and buy everything outright, it is easy to save. He is an only child with two AF retired parents, and his dad could be on his second retirement but instead still works. He pays for his own hobbies. He is a man boy. I do tell him to grow up a lot when I am extremely frustrated. I am not okay with the arrangement and I know it needs to change. I think he has been enabled his entire life and I didn't realize I was doing that. The goal was to not work and focus on gym and get into AF. In hindsight, by late November when nothing had been done, he should have gotten a job. You are right. I didn't think much of it because I attend online college and work my military job 9 to 5 and live in Korea. His actions not matching his words outside of the AF thing are my biggest concern. I am blinded by a lot and am currently realizing that I deserve more. I am still hoping that we can rearrange the current arrangement and reestablish some boundaries, but I also feel like no matter what I say, he will consistently respond the same. I don't know if it is wrong, but I am currently past my threshold. I do want to give it an effort to make it work, but I feel drained with effort. I'm currently just leaving him and read because I'm tapped out. I think once we are face to face, we can hash it out, but right now nothing I do is working. I'm standing in the middle of our apartment, the silence echoing louder than any argument we've ever had. The walls are lined with pictures of happier times, but they feel like they're from another lifetime. As I pack my bag, the weight of the past few years settles on my shoulders, heavy and unwelcome. I never imagined it would come to this. When we first met, the connection was instant electric. We were friends, partners in crime, and eventually lovers. But somewhere along the line, the man I married became a stranger to me. His words, once filled with promises and plans for the future, now feel empty. Promises made were promises broken, and the chasm between us grew with every ignored message, every unmet need. I've been away on military orders for what feels like forever, and in that time, I've seen him a mere fraction of days. At distance, those 6,000 miles somehow became insignificant compared to the emotional gap that's formed between us. I can't shake the feeling of being alone, even when he's right in front of me, hiding behind screens filled with memes and hobbies that don't include me. I recall the pact he made, to enlist and be my partner not just in marriage but in life and service. Yet here I am, with the deadline come and gone, and he's no closer to that reality than when he first uttered the words. It's not about him joining or not, it's about having the decency to follow through, to show me that I can count on him. But he can't, or rather, he won't, and that hurts more than any physical distance ever could. I've tried to communicate, to bridge the gap with words and understanding. But for every "hey, can you?" my pleas fell on deaf ears. The few responses I got were dismissive, calling me dramatic, too emotional. How can I not be emotional when my partner, my husband, can't even muster the empathy to call when I'm dealing with health issues that have left me broken, both physically and emotionally? I've supported him through his endeavors, his hobbies, his dreams. Yet, when it comes to supporting me, he's nowhere to be found. I've become an afterthought, a convenience, a checkbox in his daily routine that he forgets to mark. As I zip up my bag, I realize that I'm not just packing clothes and personal items. I'm packing up the remnants of a love that's been unreciprocated for too long. I'm tired of being the only one trying, the only one caring. I sit on the edge of our bed, and it hits me, I don't want to raise a man. I've been enabling him, just like everyone else in his life, and that stops now. The man I married might be smart, loyal, and talented, but he's also selfish, and I can't ignore that any longer. Right now, I need to step away. I need to find myself again, outside of this marriage that's been draining me of my love, my energy, my very self. My comment: maybe it's time for you to take a break to understand what you really need. Maybe it's a little bit more, you will find out soon.